Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today we're drinking a very special beer. Today we're drinking a beer that's an ancient beer style. Isn't made very often anymore. Nothing in its style is really made all that often anymore, partially because of the limitations on the style. We are drinking from the Lindeman Family Farm Brewing Company, well, the Family Farm Brewery, Cuvee Rene from Lindeman's. It's in Belgium. It's 5.5% alcohol. It's a Gueze, which is its style. Lambics are rare because they're made by wild fermentation. The beer's put out in a special container. The cold air cools the beer. The cold air brings the wild yeast into the beer. The wild yeast ferments it. It's a very long process. You don't usually use fresh hops in this stuff. You're going to use aged hops. It doesn't make it as bitter. It imparts, though, the preservatives that hops have always been used for in the past. That is a big thing with a lambic, because a lambic is a long process. In 1811, the Lindeman started making their beer. 8 generations of Lindemans have been the head brewers so far. Right now it's distributed by Merchant de Vin. Merchant de Vin has a lot of other breweries under their bucket. They have Orval, they have Westmalle, they have Traquair, they have a whole bunch of world-class breweries, so they know what breweries to buy. In 1979, Lindeman's was introduced to the U.S. It is still the #1 selling lambic brewery in the U.S. A Gueze is mixing of lambics of different ages. It's mixing young lambics with old lambics. I believe the usual mix is 1/3 young, 2/3 old. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to be 2/3 of all the exact same lambics, just 2/3 of old aged lambics and 1/3 of young new lambics. At one point, Lindeman stopped making lambics the way they've always have, and they started filtering the lambics. And the reason they filtered the Guezes was because when they filtered the Gueze, it made it a lot faster. There was a lot less time taken in the brewing process. Now, as time went on, more and more breweries started filtering their lambics, their Guezes. So what happened was Merchant de Vin talked Rene Lindeman into going back to the original style of the Gueze, the unfiltered style. So this is the gold stamp, the Gueze that beer judges use to rate other Guezes. And again, and I know it's done partially for the look, partially for the high-endness, and partially for the flavored in parts, but it's very frustrating to, first off, get the half champagne bottle, because it's almost impossible to get a bottle opener under those lips on a half champagne bottle. And then when you finally pry the cap off a Lindeman bottle, you're always left with this. You see that? Yeah, that's a cork in there too. And again, I understand why the cork's there. It just frustrates me. So we have our Raz opener here, because I don't know where my cheap all metal one is. So let's hope this one works, because I've broken several of these Raz openers. Uh-oh. Well, I broke the cork. Now I can't put much pressure on this, or else I might cork my beer. And I don't really care to cork my beer. So, let's just try and get this in here. There's a reason I bartend in the high-end room and not serve. Now I have my Molson 67 flute glass out. I know It's not what most people think of when they're going to drink a Gueze. But you know what? A flute glass is what the Merchant of Inn had it in on their website. It's what they took their picture in. So I've decided that it'll work. Way too aggressive of a pour. I was trying too hard. I failed because I tried too hard. We got tulip glass in the vicinity, so we'll finish pouring into said tulip glass. So some people call lambics the best beers in the world. Some people call them the most unique. Some people call them the worst. I mean, it all matters who you're talking to. For me, I find them very, very unique, and I find them very, very good. So, I'm just going to push that over there. We're going to go off of this. It's a beautiful looking beer. Nice head. It's very thick and pillowy. It's almost volcanic. It's almost like molten lava on the top. There's big eruptions on the top. I don't know if the camera's going to catch it. I don't have a cameraman with me today. So, I mean, there's big holes erupting on the top. It actually looks really, really nice. It's a nice, vibrant gold color. Almost looks like a cider or a white wine. It is unfiltered. Lots of carbonation moving in there. It looks beautiful. Oh. Now its ingredients, for those that don't know, are water, barley malt, wheat, hops, and yeast. Lambics, as I said, wild fermenting beers, but they're known as wild fermenting wheat beers. They put about 30%, well, up to 30% wheat malt in. I don't know what this one uses exactly, but you're getting a lot. You're getting some grassy notes. A lot of fruit, like apple, maybe some grape. Lots and lots of yeast. It's very effervescent even in just the nose. It smells nice. It smells beautiful in truth. It smells dry. Like being in a field is what you're getting on the nose, and I mean that's how they ferment it, wildly in a field. It just smells so much like you're out in a field. Oh, let's try it. It smells beautiful. Now, as I said, a Gueze is a very ancient style of beer. It is wild fermented. It is a blending of old and young lambics, but this is blended beautifully. Touches your tongue, not touch it. It touches your tongue, and you get a very, very apparent appley taste. And you get the wheat malt, gives you that malty graininess in the middle. You get some sweetness up at the front too, but that sweetness is very, very tiny because you're blanketed by tart. The sweetness hits your tongue, and then boom, sour. Almost like a Flemish. Very yeasty. You can taste the yeast on the background. You can taste the yeast in the middle. Like the middle of your tongue tastes the yeast, the back of your tongue tastes the yeast is in your throat. It's very, very apparent with the yeast. it's very dry too. Once you swallow, you're left with a tiny bit of tartness for just a second, and then poof, it's almost as if you didn't drink anything. It even gives your mouth a feeling like there's been nothing in it. Kind of like wax is in your mouth for that second, as in something blocking all your taste sensations for just that second right after you've swallowed. Excuse me, very gassy. It's got nice legs. Laces glass very well. It is really like a very tart cider or a very old vintage wine. It is a sipping beer. This Gueze, very, very, very easy drinking. It's not as oaky as a lot of the cuvées I've drank, but I mean that's perfectly fine with me. It is a more sour, more dry, but extreme at the same time. It's extremely sour. It's extremely dry. It's a really good drinking beer. If you get a chance to drink some Cuvee Rene by the Lindeman company, you really should take that chance. It is amazing. I would give this a 9.25 out of 10. I would dance, but I don't have a cameraman, and without a cameraman, I can't really do one. Thank you. Bye. Now, just on a side note, lambics are supposed to be great food pairing beers. Some as aperitifs, some as dessert beers, and some as full dinner beers. A Gueze is usually a full dinner beer. And you know what a Gueze does not go good with? Sour cream and onion chips. It tasted like I barfed in my mouth. Yep. Bye.